Hello, in this video I'm going to share a personal story. It's something that I've been dealing with for quite some time over the past several years. It's age-related muscle loss. Technically it's called sarcopenia. And no, I wasn't clinically diagnosed with that. It just doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that, you had a marginal diet and you started to develop an old man body. And it just, kind of made sense. So I want to pass along 5 things that I've learned, 5 things that I think are important for somebody that might be dealing with the same thing. So the first one is monitor your strength. 15 to 30% of seniors deal with some level of sarcopenia. Essentially, a person could lose 1 to 3% of muscle mass a year. That's like the frog analogy, where you put the frog in a pot of water and turn the heat on, and then it slowly starts to boil. Well, that's kind of the same way as losing the muscle mass. It's a very slow progression over time, and you really don't notice it. So in the military, we did annual PT test. That gave you a score, and you knew that over time you were getting slow and fat, or you were doing okay and you were staying in shape. You could judge yourself year after year. There's 3 simple things you can do to kind of measure your physical fitness, and that way it would be less subjective than just saying I feel weak or I'm feeling fine. First thing is like a grip dynamometer. It would be a metric to measure your grip strength. The other 2 things are very simple, and they don't require any special equipment, but just a chair stand test. So you stand up and sit down for 30 seconds, and you take note of how many you did. Or the dumbbell, a curl with a dumbbell. Pick the weight, and anyway, you just do as many curls as you can, and you jot that down. Simple way of just monitoring the trend over time. Point number 2 is knowing your actual protein consumption. That's pretty critical, because a lot of sarcopenia is related to, part of it's working out, but the central part is a lack of adequate protein to maintain your muscle mass or to grow your muscle mass. And the other point that I want you to consider is that quantity of protein that you needed when you were 25 or 30 is different now that you're 50, 60, 70, because your body just doesn't process protein as efficiently as it used to do when you were younger. That's called anabolic resistance. And so you need more protein now as you're older than what you did before to build or maintain your muscle mass. So that leads me to point 3, and that's you ain't 25 anymore and nothing happens overnight. Point 4 is patience and consistency pays off. I think if you want to just maintain what you have, then the intensity and the regularity of your workouts probably don't need to be as intense. But my goal is to regain some of that muscle loss. So in addition to the protein, I'm hitting the workouts much harder than what I did before. I've kind of shifted that mindset of the fitness mindset more to a longevity mindset. That transitions into point number 5, because that's where this all comes into play. So in the military, we used a saying called train as you fight. And you train as realistically as you can for that tactical situation, so that when you're faced with it, it's spontaneous. You don't have to hesitate, and you do what you got to do. The muscle memory kicks in, and you know what you've got to do should you have to do it. Well, I've morphed that into kind of a train for longevity, and that's really where I'm at right now. Longevity training is generally focused on flexibility, mobility, balance, strength, and function. That's the kind of things that I focus on when I train. Sure, I still use a bench press and I still use a curl bar, but I try to incorporate other activities that are real life movements and functional movements in my training. And sure enough, I mean, the old man body is creeping away. It's still there. I mean, I'm still an old man, but I do have an increased strength, increased flexibility, increased capacity in all of that. So, long story short, what I've been doing over the last 5 or 6 months are definitely, swinging that pendulum back in the direction that I wanted it to go. I'm kicking that old man out, and I'm trying to stay in the fight, and that's what this channel is all about. And I'm sure that there's other people, because of the age of the people that are here on the channel. I'm sure that there's other folks that are dealing with this or dealt with it. Maybe somebody is looking at it, and this will help. But honestly, if there are other people that have slayed the beast, by that I mean you're gaining muscle, then definitely leave it in the comments so that other people can learn and solve the problem themselves. Because I think we all probably, the nature of things, we're all going to deal with things a little bit differently. But put it in the comments below, and definitely like to hear from you. But thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope this is of value to someone, because that's my intent, is to try to help people out. Thank you very much. Godspeed, and stay safe.